Attention passionate Atlanta, Falcons fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Atlanta, FALCONS, FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. What we're hearing from league sources, like Adam Schefter, is truly something to keep an eye on. It's a trade rumor that could shake up not only the NFC South, but the entire NFC playoff picture. The buzz is that the Atlanta Falcons are considering making a bold move to bolster their front seven, and the player in question is none other than TJ Watt from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, I know what you're thinking. Watt is a superstar, a game wrecker, and he's been one of the league's most dominant pass rushers over the past few seasons. His name has been floated around as a potential target because, honestly, the Falcons' defense could use a boost, especially after some recent injuries and inconsistency. Let's set the stage here. The Steelers, currently sitting at 5-4, are facing some tough choices. Their cap space is tight, around $3.7 million, and they're not exactly in a prime position to make a big splash, especially with their defense leaking points, giving up around 24 points per game. They're also dealing with some injury issues on their defense, notably with TJ Watt himself. Watt has been a disruptive force when healthy, no doubt about that, averaging over 6 sacks per season with a career total of 120 sacks. He's an All-Pro, a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, and a player who can change the complexion of any game. But with their cap situation and the need to focus on rebuilding their secondary and other areas, trading Watt could make sense for the Steelers, especially if they're eyeing a rebuild and want to accumulate draft capital. Sources suggest the Steelers might be open to trading Watt in exchange for a second-round pick in the 2026 draft. It's a bold move, but it makes sense if they're prioritizing a rebuild, especially with the looming extensions for players like Justin Fields, which could hit the cap hard, around $200 million in new contracts. The Steelers are also focusing on bolstering their secondary, where completion percentage is around 64%, and they need to add more talent to compete in a tough AFC. So parting ways with Watt could free up some cap space, about $22 million, and give them the flexibility to make other moves. Now, why would the Falcons make this move? Well, the answer is simple. Atlanta's defense has been a mixed bag this season. They have some bright spots like their young pass rushers and their secondary play, but overall, they're lacking consistent pressure on the quarterback. Adding a player like Watt would be a game changer. He's a pure pass rushing force, projected to produce around 14 sacks for Atlanta if he joins the team, something sorely needed to elevate the entire defense. We saw last year how a dominant pass rush can turn a defense around. The Lions, for example, traded for Hutchinson in 2024, and that move gave them a huge boost, adding 12 more sacks and significantly impacting their ability to pressure the quarterback. Watt's profile is impressive. In the 2025 season, he's played 9 games with 15 solo tackles, 22 assists, and an incredible 6 sacks, along with 31 quarterback hits. His career stats include 120 sacks, 500 tackles, 7 Pro Bowls, and a Defensive Player of the Year award. His pressure rate is around 24%, and he's a relentless bull rusher, using his strength and technique to beat blockers. For Atlanta, bringing Watt in would mean an instant upgrade, pushing their projected sack total up from around 26 to potentially 40+, depending on how well he fits into the system. This kind of upgrade isn't just about sacks. It's about setting the tone, forcing quarterbacks into hurried throws, and creating turnovers. And here's where it gets even more interesting. The Falcons' current front seven has been somewhat inconsistent, partly because of injuries to key players like Street, who's been out for 2 games with a concussion. Watt's presence would help stabilize that unit, especially when it comes to stopping the run. His run-stop percentage is around 42%, and he's excellent at setting the edge and collapsing pockets. With Watt on the line, teams would find it much harder to establish a consistent passing game against Atlanta, which would, in turn, lower the yards per carry allowed from about 4.3 down to closer to 3.5. That's a significant boost to the defense's overall efficiency. Plus, Watt's impact would extend beyond the pass rush. His ability to draw double teams, around 20% of the time, would free up other pass rushers like Arnold and Carter, allowing them to one-on-one with blockers and generate pressure. This creates a domino effect. More sacks, more hurried throws, more turnovers, and ultimately more wins. It's exactly what Atlanta needs to push over the top and make a real push in the NFC playoff race. Now, let's talk about the potential impact on the division and the league. Atlanta is sitting at 3-7, but has shown flashes of potential. A move like acquiring Watt could vault them to a new level, potentially adding around 14 more sacks to their total, which would significantly improve their pass rush. That kind of pressure could turn close games into wins, especially against divisional rivals like the Bucs and Saints, who have struggled against strong defenses. The NFC South has been a bit of a roller coaster this season, but with Watt, Atlanta could become the division's most feared defense, forcing quarterbacks like Mayfield into bad throws. EPA per dropback would drop from -0.15 to more negative, indicating more successful pressure and fewer completions. Furthermore, this move would send a message across the league. The Falcons are serious about contending now. It's a franchise that's building around young stars like Bijan Robinson and Kyle Pitts, but adding a veteran disruptor like Watt would give them the veteran leadership and explosiveness they need to finally turn the corner and make a real playoff run. The chances of a deep postseason push would skyrocket, and Watt's presence could make the difference in tight games, especially in high-pressure playoff scenarios. Of course, all of this hinges on whether the Steelers are truly willing to part ways with Watt and if Atlanta can meet their asking price. The trade would likely include a second-round pick in 2026 and perhaps some additional considerations, but the potential payoff is enormous. It's a move that could define the Falcons' season and set them up for sustained success for years to come. Imagine a front seven anchored by Watt, with players like Arnold, Carter, and Onyemata providing additional pressure and run-stopping ability. It would be a nightmare for offenses across the league. In conclusion, this trade rumor might sound like just speculation now, but it has all the makings of a blockbuster move. The Falcons need to be aggressive if they want to make a real run, especially with the NFC opening up a bit this year. Adding T.J. Watt would not only boost the defense, but also send a clear message to the rest of the league. Atlanta is here to compete, and they're willing to make bold moves to get there. Whether or not it happens, it's exciting to think about the possibilities. The Falcons are on the cusp of something special, and a player of Watt's caliber could be the final piece they need to chase that Lombardi trophy. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Atlanta Falcons news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Atlanta Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Do you think the Falcons should pull the trigger and trade for T.J. Watt? Would he be the game changer we've been waiting for? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Falcons. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Atlanta Falcons news. The team is building something special, and with moves like this, the future looks brighter than ever. Let's keep the faith, keep the passion alive, and get ready for what's coming next in Atlanta football. The best is yet to come, Falcons Nation.